Am I in the way?
You're fine right there.
Excellent. scrapped and sold. This is, so you see where, this is the top of the mountain. It's the top of a big hill. The rail, you can see where it's starting to pitch down already. That's probably about a 1.5, well, maybe a 1.25% grade, maybe only a 1% grade there. But the rail, it gets to be 3.5% rail, 3.5% grade going down. Very deep grade, considering standard gauge railroads try to keep their grades to 0.5%, and standard gauge railroads in North America consider a 1% grade a hill. We've got a 3.5% grade down to Trout Brook. So we're totally rebuilding the roadbed. We've got, see the, we had 2 4-foot culverts here, 4 of them. Now the second one's going away. We had 4-foot culverts. We had to get trees and limbs and rocks and boulders out of 2 big washouts where there used to be culverts, and install 4-foot culverts in them, cover them with gravel and ballast, put the rig wrap on both ends. There's 2 of those 4-foot washouts. There were 3 or 4 2-foot washouts, 2-foot diameter drain pipe culverts, and there was 3 more places where the roadbed just, since 1935, the roadbed just slid away from the side of the mountain. Well, we're going to rebuild it and build retaining walls into it. That's all in progress by the volunteers, and we also got a local contractor helping us. And you saw the bridge that we've assembled up in the parking lot. That's a replica of an original railroad bridge. Everything was donated to us in Henniker, New Hampshire. I think it was a technical college. Built a replica of a trestle that was up on the Berlin sub that vandals burned. And ironically, 2 years before they burned it, there was a rail trail, and I rode across the original bridge on my mountain bike. And I was just amazed. I was wondering, wow, this is a unique bridge. And so they built this technical college, I think it was something like that, built a replica bridge and did all the design work and everything, and then they were looking for some place they wanted to go on a railroad. Well, lots of places wanted it for a highway bridge, and someone told us, well, we need it for a rail bridge. So they said, it's yours. They even paid for the shipping of it over here, all the parts of it, everything, and a man to help us assemble it. The volunteers and this guy put it all together. Inside those walls are called trusses. In there are big wooden beams and steel bars, string and holding everything together. And then that we assemble all of that in the 2 trusses on the sides, and then encased it in the wood. You can see it's all encased in wood, and it's got a roof on top with rolled roofing, just like the original one. It's called a Howe, H-O-W-E. A gentleman named Howe designed lots of railroad bridges, successful railroad bridges. It's a Howe pony truss covered bridge. Howe, H-O-W-E, pony truss covered bridge. Now it's covered because 2 reasons. The trusses are all encased in wood, protected from the elements, the weather. And each of the trusses have a slanted roof on top. So, Howe pony truss covered bridge. All covered bridges don't have to have a cover on them. That bridge, I understand, I learned yesterday, in 2 weeks, roughly, they're going to be a professional in Maine, and we're going to pay $18,000 to. It's going to move that bridge by highway up to 218, the rail crossing up north, back it down 2/10 of a mile, the general road bed, and slide it and get it across the 22 piles that have been driven into the river, the bridge abutments on both sides that we've built, and the approach spans that we've built. All by the volunteers built it all. And you might have seen in the parking lot, when you came past the restrooms, there was steel beams and apparatus together there. 2 of them. That is what's going to be used, I understand, to get the bridge from the flatbed truck onto the structures that we've been building on the bridge for it to go onto. And then somehow, that steel, I-beams and everything, is going to come out. That's going to happen. And the goal is to get the roadbed going down the mountain, totally rehabilitated, a new retaining wall and a whole lot of it, because this is all EPA and Corps of Engineers have told us what we got to do. And it's a lot of money and a lot of work and a lot of time. And then with the trestle and then 2/10 of a mile more track, a passing track up toward Route 218, a small building, and there's even talk about building a small turntable right in the middle of the track to turn 218. Steam engine. Locomotive number 9. It's not a steam engine, it's a steam locomotive, number 9. The number 9 locomotive pulling us was built in 1891 on the Portland waterfront by the Portland Company for the Sandy River Railroad. Sandy River Rangeley Lakes, then it went to Kennebec Central, and then this railroad here got it. They ran it here, and then in June of 1933, the Depression put this railroad out of business, and the track was all torn up 2 years later. But number 9 last ran in 1933 here on the rails that were underneath us, everything here. So number 9 is right back at home. We started saving a lot of money, and when we saved $250,000, it would have been 11 years ago, we started a 9-year rebuild. So it was built in 1891, and we did, 11 years ago, we started in a complete 9-year rebuild of number 9, $250,000 worth. And they finished it 2 years ago, December. And they ran it, but they actually ran it for the Victorian Christmas. They ran the locomotive number 10 at the same time. And then the next January, locomotive number 10 had to come out of service. So we had to do a 15-year rebuild on that one, which they're doing now. So number 9 is right at home. It's on new rails, new ties, new stone ballast, but the original railroad it ran on in 1933 is underneath everything. Everything. Let's see, I gotta see. What time is it and when should we be on? We got about 3 minutes. Any questions?
In terms of the rail, where do you find it?
We've got most of our rail from, it is used 60-pound mine rail, which they don't make anymore. The original railroad last ran on, they built with 35-pound rail, they rebuilt with 50-pound rail. We are rebuilding with 60-pound rail per 3 feet. It's used mine rail, which they don't make anymore, and when the mines get shut down, their rail gets sold as a scrap dealer in Indiana, Pennsylvania, Kowalczyk scrap dealer in Indiana, Pennsylvania. They buy up all the used 90-pound rail because they know it's not being made anymore, and they sell it to people like us at a big profit to them. But so that's where we've gotten most of it from. But the latest, the mile of rail, you see there's a lot of it up in the upper yard. There was a narrow gauge railroad, a 3-foot narrow gauge railroad, and it was constant with 60-pound rail. It was a good shape. Summer steamers taking it up, and we talked to them, and they agreed to sell us a mile of their 60-pound rail. But because we need a mile to get to 218, but we didn't have the money for it. But one of my members came forward and said, "I'll loan you the money. Just after when you get your annual appeal money from all the members in September every year, pay me back over the next 3 years. No interest."
Nice.
So that was a good deal. So that's how we got the rail. The ties, we just got 4 more flatbed loads of ties beyond this one we got here. 4 new flatbeds. These are guardrail posts for highways in New Hampshire. New Hampshire DOT sold them to us. They sold it to us, been selling to us for $4 a piece, and then we ordered 3 flatbed loads. They gave them to us for $3 a piece. We didn't even have to ask. We cut 2 feet off the bottom, and we've got a 5-foot narrow gauge tie.
Pressure treated. Pressure treated.
And they're PT.
Yeah.
Yes, they're pressure treated, and so EPA's happy, Corps of Engineers happy, and we just put the copper naphthenate, EPA approved, on the end of the ends that we cut. These we did a 3 months ago and pre-staged them. We got 3 more. Some in the upper yard. We got like 4 flatbed loads coming. It's because Columbus Workday Weekend would hope to build 1,100 feet or more of new track on roadbed that we've rehabilitated going down the mountain. This piece of land right here we're on, we either owned or we had a lease. We owned the property, all the rail that we're on, except the piece beyond this we had a 25-year lease on. This property here we needed to have in order to build any further. And the problem was the gentleman who owned it knew we had to have it. And the value was maybe, I guess I heard it was about $20,000. He said, if if you want the land on the top of the mountain, you're going to pay me $100,000. He wanted a new house. He had a new wife who wanted a new house. And you can, now you know who built the house for him. But anyway, so he knew he had to have it. He didn't have $100,000. So one of my members said, I have money invested a long time ago, and I've got money in the bank. I will loan you $100,000, 3% interest, and you pay me back over 10 years. $10,300 a year. So we said, we'll do that. So every September when we have our annual appeal for money to build everything and do everything here, the first $10,300 goes to Fred to pay him off on the loan for the top of the mountain. And then the next part of it goes to pay the man back for the rail that we bought. Then the next part goes to pay the loan on the house off. Then the next part goes to pay on the land that we bought where you're parking your car. And then what's left is what we use to build a railroad and run things. Along with the ticket sale, that helps out too. And buy coal. Coal's expensive. In fact, per ton, it costs more to ship it than it does to buy it.
Where does it come from?
It comes from West Virginia, the Pocahontas seam. High in heat, low in cinder, the most coal. It's high in heat, low in cinder, and low in smoke. Low in smoke. And number 9 likes it. Number 10 liked it too. So I should be, I'm surprised they haven't. Taken up in 1935. This is all pasture. Everything, as far as you can see.
One long way.
That's right, one long way. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. I gotta give her a call. So that we have the permission to go south. Hi, Linda. I know you're busy. We're at the center, and we're ready to go south soon. Do we have a car? Good, we'll be leaving soon. Thank you, Linda. Bye now. I have a little joke.
What's that?
Every call from Alna Center Station is a crank call.
I missed it.